Howdy, one and all, and welcome to SEC Basketball Week 4 reactions here at the Random SEC. And let's be honest here, guys. Absolute terrific day of college hoops. And if you weren't watching, I'm sorry. But if you weren't watching also, here's your reaction, unfiltered, completely unfiltered here. Just going to go straight through it. Every single game. Lay it out in front of you. I mean, we had everything today. We had upsets, close games, overtimes, buzzer beaters, the whole nine yards. But there's a lot to cover, so let's just get started. Number one, the 10 o'clock game, Kentucky versus Ole Miss. Kentucky is on a 4-game win streak coming into this, and spoiler, they make it 5, okay? So, this game is at Kentucky in Lexington at Rupp Arena. Kentucky's riddled with injuries, right? They're coming into this game. Obviously, no Jalen Lowe. He's out for the season. No Jaden Quintus again. And no Cam Williams. Cam Williams got hurt. He has a broken foot. We found that out last game on Tuesday when they beat Texas. So at Rupp Arena, Ole Miss comes out fighting 3-3 in the SEC. They need wins. They didn't have a great out-of-conference play. They need wins to make it to the tournament. And tournament's not over for Ole Miss, but it's looking slim. Kentucky. I mean, this game is down to the wire. You look into this game and you look at the defenses, 2 top 5 defenses in the SEC. So you're assuming it's going to be more of a defensive battle, and that it was 72-63 the final score. And just credit to Kentucky, guys. This is a team in Mark Pope, backs against the wall. Everyone is counting them out. Kentucky fans looking at who's the next hire. Mark Pope. He says, I at this point I want to curl up in a ball and just end it. Come back. 5 games later. 2 19-point comebacks against LSU and Tennessee. A couple ranked wins here and there. And then today, 10 a.m. start, early start, at home. Feels like a trap game going into next week where you have to go to Vanderbilt, to Arkansas. And you take care of business. So, I mean, literally, I can't tell you enough how impressive it is what Mark Pope is doing at Kentucky this year. And I've said it once, I'll say it again. It's very similar to Arkansas last year, right? Arkansas starts 0-5 in conference play. Now, obviously, Kentucky didn't start that bad, but similar scenario. Boogie Flan gets hurt for Arkansas. At that point, he was their best player. How does Arkansas respond? More players got to step up. It forces more players to step up. That's what's happened for Kentucky. Players are stepping up when they need to. And for Arkansas, that ended up in a Sweet 16 appearance, almost an Elite 8 appearance. We all know who that game went. Can it be the same for Kentucky? I don't know, but it's looking good right now. Otega Owe making his SEC Player of the Year case, and it's a very strong one, 23 points on the day. Colin Chandler had the game-winning 3, 12 points on the day. Yelovich, a guy that I don't think gets enough praise for Kentucky, had some enormous defensive stops in this game, enormous rebounds in this game. Malachi Moreno, same deal. He's not the best offensive weapon yet, but he's a guy that I think 2 to 3 years of development in college, he's going to be an elite guy in the NBA at the next level. 5 points today, but he was elite on the boards, 9 rebounds, and elite at defense as well. And Denzel Aberdeen had a decent game. Jasper Johnson was the story, though. At points in this game, it felt like Kentucky was going to crumble. It felt like, they're going to come back down to earth a little bit. Jasper Johnson, the freshman, he says, no, backs against the wall. We're not losing again. That's just not who we are anymore. That team that was playing against Michigan State, that was playing against Gonzaga, that's not us anymore. This team wins close games, and that's what they did today. All credit to Kentucky. Ole Miss, Malik Dia had a good game. AJ Storr had a good game. It looked like he had a chance in this game, but road games are hard to win, but you're going to need to get some, right? Your path is getting narrower and narrower to make the NCAA tournament, but there's still a path, and that's really all you can ask for right now. Destiny is still controlled by you. Ole Miss saw some promising things today, but you're going to have to get better. You're going to have to find out how to win games. That's on Chris Beard. I think he will. And next game. Not too much to say about this one. This is number 15 Vanderbilt. Just absolutely obliterating the breaks off of Mississippi State. This is a Mississippi State team that had a rough out-of-conference play. They start conference play 2-0, and it looks like, wow, we got ourselves a team that could battle for a tournament spot. But since that point, you lose to Ole Miss at home. You lose this week against Texas A&M. You get beaten down pretty badly. And then today, you lose by 30 plus. That's just unacceptable. But a Vanderbilt team that needed a win. They needed to win desperately, coming off 3 straight losses. But those were against some of the harder teams that will play all year. You come back to your home and you say, hey, we're still one of the top teams in the SEC. He had a huge win against a scrappy Mississippi State team. Tyler Tanner got his groove back a little bit, 24 points. Duke Miles, the same thing, 17 points. And Tyler Nickel, a guy who's going to have to come up big in the clutch, had a 37-point plus minus. That's about as good as it gets. That's one of the best stat lines you can have is plus minus, in my opinion. Mississippi State, what's the future with Chris Chance? 3 straight tournament appearances, but it's really looking slim this year. I think it's too early to say have discussions about Chris Chance's future at Mississippi State, but what's happening, it's unacceptable with what you were coming into this year with the expectations. But if anybody deserves a down year, it is Chris Chance. I think it like undoubtedly, but just not a good year. Just not a good year. Like that. That's really all you can say about Mississippi State right now. Moving on to one of the craziest games of the day, one of the games you didn't really expect to be crazy. 88 Missouri, 87 Oklahoma. 1-5 Oklahoma entering the day, travels to Columbia, Missouri, and I think this was the coldest place in the SEC today. Goes to overtime. Missouri pulls out the win, and this was genuinely like I watched. I didn't catch the full first half. I watched probably the last 4 minutes of regulation and then overtime. It felt like March. It felt like March Madness. An OU team coming in desperate for a win, and it felt like they had it. You're up 3 with, I think, 4 seconds to go in regulation, and you don't foul up 3. Interesting decision by Porter Moser, and they hit the buzzer beater. That's how it goes. I feel like when teams don't foul up 3, that's usually what happens, and that's what happened there. Mark Mitchell, 25 points. Absolutely insane performance by Mark Mitchell, a guy Missouri's going to need down the stretch. We're going to talk about these key players in the SEC. Mark Mitchell's one of them. He gets the game-winning buzzer beater in overtime, so 2 buzzer beaters for Missouri. Just an absolute, insane game for Missouri. A game that, needed some luck, but a game that they needed, right? It felt like you needed this one for your NCAA tournament hopes, for your seeding hopes. And right now, Missouri's sitting decently pretty, right? You've dropped some you shouldn't have, but you've also picked up some you probably shouldn't have. So Missouri's one of those teams to watch out for on the bubble. They're right now, I think they're on the good side of the bubble. OU, 1-6 in conference play, backs against the wall. You don't have Jeremiah Fears this year to save your back, right? I think that's as simple as it is. I am shocked at how the Porter Moser era at Oklahoma has gone, but at this point, I don't think it's changing. I just don't think he has it in him. I hope he proves me wrong for Oklahoma fans' sake, but I just don't think he has it in him to compete at this level in this conference. I just don't. Nigel Pack had a good game for Oklahoma, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough. Yeah, buzzer beaters suck. A lot of it was luck, but why aren't you fouling up 3 with 4 seconds to go? I don't understand that. I will never understand that. I get with the new continuation rule, here's more likelihood that you actually, foul him on the shot, but if you just foul him when he throws it in, that shouldn't really be a problem. So look, it's a game for Oklahoma that, I think you're going to sit back on and say, this was the one. This is the one you needed, and you didn't get it on the road at Missouri. All credit to the Tigers, a game they needed. They got it. 3 players with 20-plus points. That's how you do it. Barrett, Stone, and Mitchell. That's how you do it for Missouri. Dennis Gates' squad gets a much-needed W in conference play. Moving on to the next game. Rematch of the Final Four. Last year, 76 Auburn, 67 Florida. A game Florida won last year. Auburn hasn't won in Gainesville and the O-Dome since 1996. They get it done today. Bruce Pearl never did it. Stephen Pearl does it in year 1. Something poetic about that, right? Todd Golden, Stephen Pearl on the same staff together for years, and they go at it against each other today, and Stephen Pearl gets the W. It was a game that at some points Auburn was just straight up dominating. Going into this game, Florida was the best team in the SEC. I don't think anyone doubted that. I don't think anyone would refute that. Florida was the best team in the SEC. They were dominating opponents. They were just looking like they were pulling away, kind of going on the stretch they were last year. But I said it going into this game. Florida, I still think that they, potential-wise, they are the best team in the SEC. But you're going to hit some rough patches. This one was unexpected. It was at home against an Auburn team that is good, but not elite. This is a game, Auburn, going into it. I didn't expect much from you. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. But now I'm looking at you, Auburn, and I'm saying, why aren't you consistent? Because the performance you put up today and the performance you put up against Arkansas, the other best team in the SEC, why isn't that happening every week, every day, every game? Because if it is, what's stopping you from being like a top 10 team? Absolutely nothing, because when Auburn's firing on all cylinders, they are just a top 10 team. That's as simple as it gets, guys. Once again, Florida, you're going to go as far as your guards take you. Today, they did not take you far. Boogie Flan, 8 points, decent showing. Xavier Lee, 7 points, pretty bad showing for both of them. Like, guys, you're going to go as far as your guards can take you. Thomas Haug can't carry the load. It seems like when he does that, it doesn't end up well. He had a double-double, 27 points, 10 rebounds. And it's just an insane performance from Thomas Haug, but he can't do it all. He simply can't do it all. Chinny Liu played good again. Alex Condon can't have just a no-show like that, though. Overall, I think it's a game that, I don't want to say a trap game, but just a game that Florida kind of snooze fest through the first half, and by that point, they were like down a 20-point hole, and just trying to climb back was tough. But all credit to Auburn, man. Keyshawn Hall, I tweeted it out. We have a list of players in the SEC who are just being underlooked. Keyshawn Hall is at the top of that list. The dude is absolutely insane. Some of these performances he put up is just absolutely insane, and I think he has like 3 20-plus point games in the last 5. He consistently drops, I think he averages like 20 points per game. The dude is one of the best players in the SEC, and we're not giving him enough credit. He's just an automatic scorer. Auburn did the opposite of what Florida did. They spread the rock. They got a lot of players a piece of the pie. Keyshawn Murphy, Keyshawn Hall, Kevin Overton, Tahad Pettiford had a good game. Guys that you need to get going, got going. That's all I have to say about that one. Great win for Auburn. Tournament hopes are skyrocketed up. Tournament stock is definitely on the high. You're on the right side of the bubble. I'd say you're pretty comfortably in right now, but there's a long season left. Great win for Auburn. Oh boy. Next game. Texas, 87. Georgia, 67. Talk about a game I was not expecting. You're at home, Texas. Credit to you. But at one point, I was watching a lot of the first half of this game, and you go into the second half down 8 points, and I'm like, okay, this is a game. Georgia's offense is too much. Somto Cyril is too much. Jeremiah Wilkerson's going to take over, and Georgia's just going to run away with this one. Quite the opposite. I want to know what Sean Miller said in the halftime speech in the halftime locker room for Texas, because what a performance they put out in the second half, outscoring Georgia by 30 points in the second half, 87-67. They were down 8 at half. Take that into account, and then won by 20. Unheard of stuff. Dalen Swain for Texas, insane. Tremont Mark, talk about that list of underlooked players in the SEC. Tremont Mark's one of them. He's one of the best players in the SEC right now. He's Texas's right now go-to guy. I like Texas, though. I like Texas a lot because they have so many weapons, so many guys that can have a career night. Tremont Mark, Dalen Swain, Kendall Weaver's the X Factor. Jordan Pope can have an insane game. Vokietadis, I can't say his name right, but he's also just a guy that can have a great game on any given night. That's what you want. I like what Sean Miller's team's building. Kind of going under the radar. Kind of a team that you'll know, like, you compare them to worse teams in the SEC, although they're better. And fun fact for you, Texas and Arkansas are the 2 teams in the SEC with the most ranked wins. 4 ranked wins for Texas. Another one today, over 21. Georgia. And this is a good Georgia team, guys. Like, don't get me wrong. They just dominated Arkansas just a week ago. I mean, obviously it was at home. But this is a game I totally believed Georgia was going to run away with it. They didn't. Texas bounces back in a much needed win. Like I always say, you need to win your home games in the SEC, and you need to pick up a couple road games. Texas did that today. They got a huge home win. But at the end of the day, for Georgia, I don't know why, but it feels like when Blue Cane's going, your whole team's going. Like Jeremiah Wilkerson and Somto Cyril, they're kind of guys that are consistent. But when you have Blue Cane going, that's when you win games. That did not happen today. Pretty much everybody in Texas had a good game. I mean, I can't stress to you enough how big this game was for Texas, and they got it. And tournament stock way up, right side of the bubble. Yes, sir. Looking like a tournament team right now for Texas. Looking like a tournament team. That's all I can say. All right, moving on. Final score: Texas A&M 92, South Carolina 69. As a person who's not a huge fan of the University of Texas A&M, grew up an Arkansas fan, Arkansas guy. I am not a big Aggie guy, but the way this basketball team's playing, the way Bucky McMillan coaches, the way that this team plays, the swagger that which they bring, the underdog mentality that which they have, the fact that Bucky McMillan, coming into A&M, the last coach hired, barely any time to build a team, picked 13th in the SEC at the beginning of the year. Buzz Williams, the guy that kind of brought A&M back, he's gone. He's at Maryland. I look at this A&M team, I say, that's one of the worst teams in the SEC. I wrote a note card. Bucky ball is fun. It's backwards, but Bucky ball is fun. 6-1 in conference play. Number 1 in the SEC outright. Where are the haters? I mean, come on, guys. Bucky ball is legit, and I'm sorry. I've been labeled as an A&M hater. I'm not. I don't think I am. I think I've been high on Bucky. This team makes people who hate A&M like A&M. That's how fun this team is to watch. This is fun basketball. This is what they call ethical hoops. Pressing 24/7. They just play the game the right way, and they win. They win. The one loss they have was at Tennessee in overtime with some controversial calls. Like, you can keep saying that they're playing the lower half of the SEC. I don't care. I don't care. Tell me another team that can be 6-1 in the SEC. Tell me. With the schedule they have, I don't think there is one. Do I think at the end of the day they will end up being the best team in the SEC? I don't know. But I can't take away what they've done. I can't take away what Bucky McMillan's done. Fun team. I mean, every player on their team, and just the vibe that's around Aggie Land. Like today, snow day. Free tickets for the students. I'm like, what in the world? Pack the place. They do. They pack the place. And a South Carolina team that, they don't, I mean, yeah, they're one of the worst teams in the SEC. They don't get blown out often. They don't. They did against Arkansas, but boy, oh boy, did they today. At one point, I think Texas A&M had like a 40-point lead. Just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Bucky McMillan, the job he's done. SEC Coach of the Year in general. I mean, like, you can't give it to anybody else. The expectations that A&M had coming into this year were so low. He's exceeded them to every degree of the word. I mean, just an absolute masterclass by Bucky McMillan. I can't wait to see where we go next with this. I really, really can't. Gig 'em. That's all you can really say about it, right? Gig 'em. Okay, next game. Arkansas at home, 85-81 win against LSU. This is a game that also got moved up. It was supposed to be 7:30. Ends up being 4:30 for Razorbacks. So a game you go into, and this is what I will label as a trap game, right? As Arkansas, you're going into a huge week. You just came off a pretty big win. And scratch that, a huge win. You just dominated one of the best teams in the SEC at Vanderbilt at home. You always win at home. People telling you that. You come into this game, you're saying, oh, it's LSU. For some reason, Arkansas always struggles against LSU, by the way. I don't know why. You come into this game, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. Like, the performance Arkansas put up today was maybe their worst performance they put up at home. They're 12-0 at home, by the way. The fact that you won this game is very telling. Very, very telling of what Arkansas can be. The biggest problem for you right now is consistency. Consistency, that's all it is, because the version of Arkansas we saw against Vanderbilt, that team can be anybody. Anybody. But the version of Arkansas we saw tonight can lose to anybody. The version of Arkansas we saw against Auburn can lose to anybody. The version of Arkansas that we saw in the first half of Georgia, lose to anybody. Consistency is key. I've said it once, and I'll say it again. Trevor Brazile, when he's going, Arkansas's going. Carter Knox, when he's going, Arkansas's going. Darius Acuff's always going. 31 points. Without Darius Acuff, you lose this game by double digits. He is the only reason you win this game. And all credit to him. He's just an absolute beast. He's one of the best players in the country. He's SEC Player of the Year by far, in my opinion. Right now, he's the front runner. I mean, no one's doing what this guy's doing. 30-plus points once again. It feels like a nightly thing. It's unprecedented what he's doing as a freshman. This freshman class, by the way, just absolutely insane. Day after day, night after night. through the SEC, throughout all of college basketball. Just absolutely insane. Billy Richmond, most important player on Arkansas's roster. I've said it once, I'll say it again. It seems like I have to tweet it out every single game for Arkansas. Billy Richmond, most important player on Arkansas's roster, because when he gets in there, he's a spark plug. He's their best defender by far. Arkansas defense is the real key. If you can't get this defense to a place it needs to be, then it's going to be an early out in March. I hate to break it to you. I trust Cal. I trust that they will get it to a place it needs to be. But its inconsistency especially, there's no reason LSU should be just scoring on you at will like they were today. There's no reason. Rebounding, huge thing. Can't be as bad as you were today. Got dominated by LSU bigs. But all that being said, how bad you played, you still won. You won this game by 4 points. So home crowd advantage really helped. Great crowd for Arkansas with the snow. Like, the snow situation in Arkansas was especially bad. Packed that place out. Them in Kentucky, just very very great crowds considering the circumstances. At LSU, Matt McMahon, I get this game was, down to the wire, playing good team, but similar situation to OU, but even worse. Like, I just don't think, like, what tells me that Matt McMahon can get this done at LSU? Absolutely nothing. I think this may be his last year. We'll see. But you have ballers on this team. You do. Dean Thomas, great player. Sutton, great player. Nwoko, great player. If you can get it together, I still think there is a pathway to the tournament. But like Ole Miss, like other teams, your pathway is getting narrower and narrower as each game you drop. So I get that Kentucky game sucks. I get this game sucks. They're close games against good teams. But at the end of the day, you got to capitalize. And you just didn't today. So, all right. The final game of this wild day of SEC hoops, and one of the crazier ones, right? Tennessee beats Alabama. Storylines out the wazoo coming into this game, right? Charles Bediako, former G League player for Alabama. He's back. And absolutely a lot of chaos around that, a lot of drama. I have a whole video about it. Please watch it. It's one of my most recent. Crazy situation. But for Tennessee to go to Alabama with all that, you have to play a guy who's, 23 years old, 22 years old, who's been playing against guys that are physically better. He's a guy that's physically more dominant. And then to have a Nate Mint, the guy that's on him, kind of, position lined up there the same, dropped 29 points. Nate Mint, who's been struggling, but he's been playing better recently, 29 points. I mean, just bow. Just bow to that. What a performance from Nate Mint. A guy that people were counting him out saying, oh, he's the first bust, the first bust 5-star. No, he's great. Rick Barnes is developing him, taking his own path, but he's developing him. Jacoby Gillespie. Once again, I bring that list of underrated players in the SEC. Jacoby Gillespie, one at the top of the list. Again, 24 points, and it just feels like it's a 20 bomb every night for Jacoby Gillespie. Just an absolutely outstanding player for Alabama, though. I'm biting my tongue on a lot of stuff I could be saying about Alabama. Nate Oates, how do you lose this game? With all that's going into this game, how do you lose this game? I do not know. That being said, still a lot of season left for Alabama. We'll see where this Charles Bediako situation goes further. I'm biting my tongue on a lot of it. And, yeah, I mean, LeBaron Bynum, it just feels like the talent that he is and the way that he's been playing, you should be producing more if you're Alabama. Obviously, injuries have been plaguing them, but at the end of the day, what's happening at Alabama, and you're not producing more results. I just feel like you should be. Long season left, and Alabama, Nate Oates has a history of figuring it out, so I'm not worried about Alabama, but great win for Tennessee. Tennessee backs against the wall. I mean, not completely, but backs against the wall. They haven't got that road win yet, and this was it. Coleman Center was rocking. Charles Bediako situation. You walk into this game, everyone's picking against you, but everyone's rooting for you, and you deliver. So thank you, Tennessee, and thank you, college basketball, and thank you, SEC basketball. What a terrific day that it was in SEC basketball. Thank you all who stuck around all 20-something minutes of this video. Please subscribe if you did stick around, comment, like, all that jazz. And follow us on all socials for the greatest updates here at the Random SEC in football, basketball right now, and baseball coming soon. This is Random SEC. See you later.